Guys, welcome back to Precision Rifle Network. This is part 2 of the Sig Cross with Proof Prefit Barrel video. What I've done is Proof sent me a 6.5 Creedmoor carbon barrel. For this, it is 20 inches long, whereas the factory steel barrel was 18 inches long. So I may gain some velocity out of that. It's an assumption, I don't know. We've got the Garmin chronograph, we'll be running that. The weight difference I will be popping up on the screen for you guys because I completely forgot to weigh it. I know that the factory configured Sig Cross rifle weighs in at 6.5 pounds. My guess, just by experience and holding this thing, it is probably around 10 pounds now. I mean, you've got a scope that's, you know, 1.5 pounds. You've got a suppressor up there on front. It's titanium, but it has a little bit of weight, right? It's not quite 1 pound, probably. My guess is in the 7 to 8 ounces range, so 0.5 pound. That bipod from Gunworks up there is probably in the 0.5 pound range. So those added things, of course, I've got a scope level over here too, ounces, but they all add up. So my guess is somewhere in the neighborhoods of 9.5 to 10 pounds total, but I'll throw it up on the screen for you. So the whole point of today is to break in the barrel. So I'm probably going to be shooting most of this ammo that you have here. I've got some partial boxes, but what I've got is a Peterson. This is a 140 grain ELDM, so it's Peterson brass, it's loaded by them, but it's using a Hornady 140 grain bullet. And then I've got the Hornady Match Grade 140, which is of course loaded by Hornady, and it's using the same bullet as that guy. And I've got a couple different varmint rounds that I wanted to try. So this is the new V-Match. This is the 100 grain ELD VT from Hornady. And then I've got the Varmint Express. This is a 95 grain VMAX. So as we go through, I'll be testing those and I'll be giving you chronograph numbers for each of those, and we'll get groups for each of those. We'll just see what this platform can do. I think it looks sweet. I think it looks amazing. How it shoots, that's yet to be determined. So let's get into it. All right, guys. First group I'm going to put down there at 100 yards is with the Hornady 140 grain match. And so we'll just see what we get. 5 shots is what I can do for a group. I'm not putting multiple 5-shot groups because then I'll run out of ammo for the rest of the video. So, all right. So hopefully on your screen there, we are going to be shooting at the second row down. So the first row that's got 5 orange circles, not at the top 3. On the left-hand side. Hopefully it's up on your screen at this point because I put it there in the editing process. A little bit of a wobbly rear rest here because there's not much purchase on the back of this stock, but we'll see what we can do. Chopping down corn stalks back there in the field. Sorry about that, Brother Bart. It's about a 1 MOA group, maybe a little sub MOA. I forgot to start the chronograph for you guys, but those first 5 shots, I will tell you, the standard deviation was something like 30 plus, and the extreme spread was like 70 something. Not good. All right, guys, so now we are going to do the Peterson ammo here. This is again the Peterson 6.5 Creed. It's using the 140 grain ELDM bullet from Hornady, and we'll just see what we get. Again, 5 shots. I'm going to go to the orange target just to the right of the where we did with the Hornady before. So second one over. Do our best to keep this thing stable for you, and I did start the chronograph this time, so we'll actually get better data. Oh, I can't tell you how wobbly this back end is, guys. There's just there's like a half an inch of real estate that's touching down here, and it's rounded on the sides, so that back of that rifle just wants to tip and twist as soon as I put any pressure into it. I know that's just a complaint, but I think it's a valid one. Well, that's a nice tight little group. I'm guessing half inch. Let's see what the chronograph says. Still not amazing. I mean, it's okay for factory ammo, but standard deviation of 16, extreme spread of 44 with the Peterson. Using the same bullet that it was before, but obviously you would expect Peterson to be loading to higher consistency than the Hornady. Now, I've never seen the Hornady match grade perform as poorly as it did here today for the first 5 shots. Yeah, the Hornady SDs and ESs were more than double what the Peterson was. I'm gonna do it again on that Hornady just to make sure, but it's a good group down there. I wish I had more of this stuff because that might be what I'd run. All right, guys, now we got the Hornady V-Match. I expect this to be running considerably faster than those 140 grains. We'll see what it does for group down there. Like what? There's nothing for recoil on that. I wish I could stop at 3 shots because that's all one hole. And I just broke contact to the rifle because I'm an idiot. Yeah. That's a good group. I broke contact to the rifle 2 times there at the end, and both of those shots after I broke contact, one went slightly left and one went slightly low. So whatever, it's still a good group. Let's see what the chronograph says here. Well, we got an average feet per second of 3106. 3106. Standard deviation of 18 with an extreme spread of 58.58. So extreme spread is a lot. But if you're using this for varmints, say inside of 300 or 400 yards, that 50 to 60 feet per second is not going to matter much on those size of targets. Standard deviation of 18 is okay. You know, we really want it down around the low double digits. To single digits is great, but anyway, let's switch up to the next ammo. Okay, boys and girls, now we are doing the Varmint Express from Hornady. This is a 95 grain VMAX. My guess is we're going to be up around 3,200 feet per second, and we'll see what it does for group. Here we go. Next dot over from where we just were. I'll put a little graphic on the screen so you know where I'm at. Little bit of heavy bolt lift on that guy. Just the tiniest little bit of ejector swipe on there. Probably nothing to be concerned about. It definitely was a little bit tighter. All right, so we've got an average of 3160 feet per second. 3160. Little bit of pressure signs. Not bad, but a little bit. Standard deviation of 10.8 with an extreme spread of 30. So those are the best numbers we've gotten yet. And that group was, at least visually speaking, the worst of the groups down there. So it's still around an inch, around an MOA, but man, you would expect, well, I guess this isn't necessarily a match grade. This Varmint Express is not a match grade, so I don't know what we should expect. 1 MOA is probably good. All right, guys, so this is going to be just the retest of the Hornady 140 grain ELD match. Because those SDs and extreme spreads, when I first shot it through the rifle, like the first 5 shots out of the rifle were so bad. Like, I've never seen this ammo that bad. And I just wonder if the first 5 shots out of the brand new barrel is maybe not fair, so I'm giving this another chance, not necessarily for group size, just to see what the chronograph data does. Let's go bottom left corner. Well, we'll for sure take that group too. I'll show you that guy. Get it measured up for you. I'm moving my base here every time this thing recoils into the front of it, but it's okay. Honestly, it's still not amazing, but that group shot nice and tight. So feet per second, 26, 23 and a half. So I'd round that up. Standard deviation of 19.8 with an extreme spread of 50. So yeah, it's just not that consistent this time around, at least this particular lot. Let's run down to the 100-yard line and check out those groups. Here's what we got. So this here was my initial kind of just shots trying to figure out how far off my scope was. So that was there. And then we came up and we put our groups in. This was the original Hornady 140 grain match grade. This was that Peterson right here. That's a great group. That's not bad either. That was the ELD VT match. This was that Varmint Express. Usually horizontal stringing has something to do with, your support rather than the ammo, but I don't know. We're just leaving that the way it is. And then I came down and wanted to retest the Hornady 140 grain, and it put that kind of a group in there, but the SD didn't improve. So I'll get these groups up for you on the screen. Probably while I've been talking here, you will be seeing those groups pop up. Let's get back to the line. We'll run this thing out to about 500 yards. All right, guys, so I decided to go with the Hornady ELD VT 100 grain varmint load. So it's a match grade varmint load. It shot close to the tiniest group. Basically, they were all roughly a ½ inch with the exception of that one that was a slightly over 1 inch. So as far as group size is concerned, I could pick any of these and be fine. But my intended purpose with this rifle is to make it a varmint hunting rifle. I want it lightweight so I can pack it around, which it is. I want a high speed, I want a high speed round that I don't have to worry a whole lot about dropping things out to say 300 yards or so, 300, 400 yards. Now we're going to be running it out to 500 here just to get our drop data and true up our BC. And I think I've got about a 3 to 5 mile an hour wind, quartering from my left to right. So that's what I'm going to be basing this off of. What you are seeing on the screen is the 200-yard plate. I'm going to put one round right there on the black. When we adjust, see if the shot goes high, if the shot goes low. We'll adjust off of that all the way out to 5 and just see what we get. Here we go. And I am switching to my bipod. Should have done that already for you guys, but all right, this is calling for just preliminary data in the Kestrel, calling for 0.3. That hit exactly where I was aiming, like exactly. So that's good. All right, out to 3. All right, now we're on the 300-yard plate. Boom. Maybe about a 1/10 right of where I was holding, but right on the black line down there. That's perfect. That's just what we want it to do. About to the 400. Spotting scope's on the 400. Shooter has all kinds of weeds in the way. Hopefully that doesn't deflect anything, but we'll give her a shot here. Here we go. Favoring left. Holding black line. I'm not sure exactly where it hit because, again, weeds in my way. As here was that 400-yard shot that we couldn't see. It doesn't get any better than that. Nice. Locked on at 5 with the spotting scope. Got our dope dialed in here. Go ahead and send one at 5. Yeah, perfectly clear down there. Okay. Down and right, which from a left to right wind, if it's strong enough, can force a bullet down like that, as opposed to just right, because we've got a right twist, right, and it kind of wants to go like this. So we will adjust. Let's see. I'm gonna give it 1/10, and we needed 4 to 5 tenths of wind. So we're gonna go 4 tenths of wind. Boom. On the black in the center. That's what we want. So, and the 500, original one, and then correction, we'll take that. What we can say right off the bat is we had to adjust up slightly. So it called for a 2.1 hold, and it actually took a 2.2 to get center. The question mark always is that because of that wind that's driving across from left to right and the spin of the bullet making it drop? And I just made an on-the-fly correction, but the next time the wind is coming from the right versus the left, it's not going to be that. It could be a 1/10 off, but again, out to 500 yards, if there's only a 1/10 of variation in my drop data, it's not going to be that causes me to miss a target, okay? Unless it's a sub-MOA tiny target that I shouldn't be shooting at with this rifle in that context of hunting anyway. So I'm not really worried about that. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the BC to where this calls for a 2.2 hold, and then we're going to run it just like that. So the way I do that is go into my Kestrel, under gun. The BC wasn't quite as good as we thought. We're starting at 0.270, so I'm going to go 0.260 and check and see what that does. There we are. So I've got it saying 2.15 on the data, which I would round up to 2.2. So it's probably a 1/10, even a less than a 1/10 of variation in that drop data from where we started to where we are now. Totally fine with that. Let's bring it back into 300 yards and just confirm that our 300 yard data still lines up. All right, locked in at 3. And what would I would expect is for this to be on the black or slightly, just slightly high on the black. But again, you can't shoot the difference in the field. How am I to know that that isn't just my wind call or my body position or something and not the drop data? So that's my guesstimate, is that I'm going to be on the black or just slightly high of the black. Let's just see what we get at 300 yards here. Favoring left. Yeah. Here's the 300 yard target. All shots right there on the black line, quote unquote water line. Perfect data. Locked in all the way out to 5 for the context that I want this, right? That's the big thing. It's going to be a hunting rig, so remember, we're concerned about weight. So we've got carbon fiber barrel from Proof. Thing is a hammer, obviously. 3 out of the 4 shot 1/2 inch. I put 2 groups down there with the Hornady match grade. Both of those shot 1/2 inch, roughly. So one was like 3/4 and one was a 1/2 on that. So if we take it in the middle and call that 0.6, then the Peterson shot a 1/2 inch group. This Hornady V-Match shot a 1/2 inch group. And then the only match grade ammo over there, the Varmint Express 95 grain or whatever it is, that shot over a 1 inch group, which if you were just hunting varmints inside of 300 yards, you wouldn't even care about that. But again, context, back to hunting, we went with lightweight components. 5 inch titanium KGM can up there, the K can, just a little bit shorter. The awesome new bipod from Gunworks. Don't have time to go into all the great things about that right now, but suffice to say, it's excellent, it's lightweight. With the Mark V up here, the Leupold Mark V, 3 to 18 in mil up here on top. Ultra lightweight vertical grip from MK Machining down here. Just all in all, an excellent package, guys. So what I want to say is, get yourself a Proof carbon barrel for your Sig Cross. If you're considering a new barrel, I can attest it's an excellent choice. And maybe look into those bipods too. So, all right, so that's it for today, guys. The V-Match performed the best. Again, half-inch group out of factory ammo, running 3,106 feet per second. Dead nuts on all the way out to 500 yards, and in a package that weighs 9 to 10 pounds, actually 9 pounds probably, if I'm just doing my math correctly. But I'm not the best at the maths. Anyway, thanks for watching. Tune in again soon for another great video from Precision Rifle Network.